Mario is asleep on his couch. You quietly open the front door and creep towards his bedroom. You still don't want to anger him, but you have to get the key to the basement door. You slowly open the door, revealing the dark basement and the outline of a figure sitting on the floor. Mario's snoring lightly. You lie in wait in the darkness. You are on watch while your other comrades sleep. You stand at the top of the stairs and listen. Nothing. You creep down the stairs and find Mario's body lying on the floor. Nothing. You check his pockets and find the spare key. You open the door to the basement and descend the stairs. You see the figure from above standing at the far side of the basement. You fire your pistol into the air. You shout, "Freeze! Police officers!" The figure begins to run towards you. You fire another round into the air. The figure keeps running and pauses at the bottom of the stairs. "Hands in the air. Do not move," you shout. The figure raises his hands. On the floor. The figure complies. You walk down the steps and approach the man. He's a tall, broad-shouldered man. His face is lean and hawkish, giving him a predatory look. His skin is pale and his eyes a light blue. He has short black hair and sideburns going across his face. He wears a dark blue suit with a white shirt and a striped red and white patterned tie. He wears black polished shoes. He looks at you and says, "What have you done to my house?" "What have we done?" you ask. "Why, do you live here?" "No." "Then what are you doing here?" "We're doing a routine police check." "Want to show us your IDs?" "That won't be necessary. We have rights, you know." "I know," you reply. "But we don't have time for this. Your house has been invaded." "What? By who?" "That's what we're here to find out." The man looks around and says, "This place isn't safe. I'll call my lawyer." "That's your right," you say. "But we need to get back to the station and book you." "I'm not talking without a lawyer." "Will you let us handcuff you if we insist?" "Sure. Go ahead." You cuff the man's hands behind his back and lead him to the police vehicle. You and another officer drive the prisoner back to the police station in the prisoner's own vehicle. The man looks in the rear-view mirror and says, "You guys really need to work on your manners. My lawyer is going to get you both. We're sorry for taking you into custody," you apologize. "But we're doing our job." "No need to apologize. You guys do that to everyone whose car is pulled over. I've worked with officers before and seen how they act. You're just doing your job." "Thank you for the insight," you grumpily reply. You and the other officer get into the passenger seats of the car and drive back to the house. When you arrive, the house is silent. "Someone's in trouble," you say. "What makes you say that?" asks the other officer. "I can smell it." The other officer walks into the house and says, "I smell blood." You walk into the house from the front door and say, "I also smell blood." "Let's go." You follow the officer into the living room where the body of a man lies on the floor. The man is pale, wearing a dark suit and a red tie. He has long, blonde hair and is well dressed. He wears a red, leather-bound watch. The dead man looks familiar. "Has he been here before?" your colleague asks. "Maybe," you say, "but I think I've seen him in a picture." The man's eyes are still closed. "He's been here," says the other officer. "The scent is still fresh. Let's take a closer look at the body." You walk over to the dead man and put your hand on his shoulder. "Mario." Mario Averill." You open the man's eyes and say, "Mario, can you hear me?" The man opens his eyes and lazily looks around, not recognizing where he is or what has happened. "Mario, how do you feel?" My head hurts," he says. "You have a mild concussion. You had a seizure. The doctor said you'll be fine," you say. "Oh, good," the man answers, "but what about my things?" "I need them." You'll get your belongings later, you say. Right now, you need to get your strength back. My things? The man asks. Oh, you mean my money, silver, and jewelry? Yes, you answer. Though I'm afraid I can't return it, since it's evidence. Evidence of what? That's information we need to know before we can release you. You'll be able to get your things later. Once we know what we're charging you with. Oh. Now, take a look at this body. See if you recognize him. The man walks over to the body and looks at it. Is that? Yes. That's my uncle. I'm very sorry for your loss, you say, but we need to ask you some questions. The man looks at you and sadly nods. Go on. You were with Mario last Monday night. Correct? Yes. Do you know what time he died? No, I don't, but I can find out, can't I? We could give you a sedative so you can sleep and a hypnotist so you can remember, you offer. No. That's okay, the man replies. I can remember. Good, you reply. What can you tell us about the silver in your uncle's possession? Not much. Anything at all? He kept some old family treasures. My mother's gold locket, my grandmother's rosary. And my father's watch. What about the money? There is some money. It's all old and in used condition. I think he keeps it in a shoebox in his office. Is that where you'd stashed your own money? The other officer asks. Yes. Do you know a man named Carter Hall? Carter Hall? Are you from the bank? No. Do you know him? No. Have you ever done any work for him? He's an attorney. I know. I've never done any work for him. What bank does Carter Hall work for? You interrupt. I've never done any work for him, the man answers. What's the last address you had for him? 788 Main Street, apartment 2B. Thank you for your time, Mr. Averill, you say. You're welcome. I'm sorry to bother you. It's okay, you say, we'll let you get some rest. I might have a headache, but it'll go away, says the man. Good luck with the case. Thank you. You and your colleague leave the house and start your car. Do you think we should arrest him? You ask. I don't know, says the other officer. We have enough to charge him with murder. Let's wait and see if we can find any other evidence first. What are you going to do? I'm going to go talk to Carter Hall, you say. Do you think he'll give you a confession? He might, you answer, but I think it's worth a try. You drive to the address Mr. Averill gave you for Carter Hall. Do you think that's his car? You ask, pointing at a silver Mercedes. I think so, your colleague replies. Let's go over and introduce ourselves. You pull up to the silver Mercedes and get out. The other officer joins you. You lean against the hood and ring the doorbell. After a few moments, the door opens and Carter Hall stares at you. Can we talk? You ask. What about? I'm investigating the death of your employee, Mario Averill, you answer. Do you have a suspect? Carter asks. Not yet, you say. But I'd like to get a statement from you about what happened. No problem, says Carter. You two enter the Mercedes and go to a nearby parking lot. You sit down in a secluded area and each grab a can of soft drink that you have in your trunk. I'm glad to see you two taking this seriously, Carter says. This is a shame though. You guys are great at your job, but you're wasting your time with this one. It's an open and shut case. We're trying to do the right thing here. Sure you are, Carter says. Can we get back to the investigation, please? You say. Sure, Carter says. Though I still have no idea what all this is about. You tell Carter Hall about the missing money, about Mario's credit card having been found, and about the video found in the parking lot. Carter's eyebrows rise and he leans forward in his seat. That was smart of you to do that, he says. But how did you come up with the idea? You tell Carter about the man in the photo and the conversation you had with him. When you're done, Carter reaches over and puts his hand on top of yours. This could be important. Do you think? I really can't tell you anything more, Carter says, but if this man is a suspect, he could be our guy. Do you know where he is? You ask. He had an appointment with somebody in town. This town? Yeah, says Carter, about an hour north of here, I'd say. Thanks, you say. You're welcome, Carter says. Good luck with the case. Goodbye, you say to Carter, thanks for the help. You and the other officer leave the parking lot and head in the direction of the town. Well, Carter says from the passenger seat, it's not much, but I think it's better than sitting around doing nothing. It's okay, you answer, we're close to a solution. Just give me a sec to check something out, and we'll call it a day. Oh, sure thing, says Carter, I'll go grab my gear from the trunk. I have a spare set of keys for this thing, in case the batteries go dead or something. I have a lot of questions for you, you say, as Carter gets out of the car. Fire away, says Carter. What's bothering you, Mr. Hall? Yeah? Do you think Mr. Averill could have been framed? What makes you ask? Asks Carter. Mr. Averill was one of the richest people in town. If someone wanted him out of the way, they'd kill him and take the money. True, you say, but is there any evidence that could prove that Mr. Averill was framed? That's a good question, says Carter. Let's see. Carter goes into the building entrance and comes back out a moment later. He's got 2 keys in his hand. According to this keycard, he says, we're on the 2nd floor. He opens the door and you follow him inside. He goes up to the counter and swipes the card. The lights go off and you hear the sound of bolts sliding back. I wouldn't do that if I were you, says Carter, there's cameras everywhere. Relax, says Carter, I'm not that stupid. You pull out your cell phone and check the battery. It's dead. You can't call for help when you need it. Here's the thing, Carter says. If you really are investigating Mr. Averill's death, you're going to need a lot more than the police to solve it. I suggest you get a few friends together and do your own investigation. Swear to me that you won't do anything stupid and I'll give you a set of keys. The cameras can wait. Just don't go anywhere near Mr. Averill's house. For all you know, he still might be alive, and there's no way you're going to prove his death. With your permission. Of course. What about the security cameras? You ask. The police only have the tapes from last night, they need more. I can get you access to the cameras. But you can't take them out of the building. That, or you could go around the building to the front door and take a peek through the keyholes. Oh, I guess it's okay then, you say. Thanks for doing this, by the way. Of course, says Carter, just don't go babbling about what you see to the police. I'm not saying you should, but some people have a tendency to do that. A little discretion goes a long way, you know. Don't worry, you say, I won't do that. As long as you're sure, says Carter, just give me a sec to get the key. And then we'll get you upstairs to the 2nd floor. Carter goes back into the building. You hear him fumble around for a second, and then the sound of a lock being unlocked. He comes back out and hands you a set of keys. Here you go, says Carter. Just as I said, the cameras can stay here. Don't worry about the locks on the front door. The deadbolt will still be engaged. You'll need the master key to open the inside lock. Okay, you say. Just remember one more thing, says Carter, if you need help, just call. My number is under Mr. Averill's in the contacts. I'll do what I can to help you, even if I can't be there myself. I'm sorry I can't be of more assistance, but I have a job. A family and other things. Don't worry about it, you say, I'll get this solved. Just don't go getting yourself killed, says Carter, okay? Okay, you say again. Well, let's get you upstairs then, says Carter, turning towards the stairs. You go up the stairs and Carter goes in the side. A moment later, the sound of a bolt sliding back and the light of a camera shining in your face makes you jump. Shit. You say, sorry I'm late. I got held up at the mall. That's okay, says Carter. I was just getting a cup of coffee. You want a cup? Sure. You say, want one? No thanks, says Carter. Let's get this over with. You and Carter walk into the living room and look around. Someone's been cleaning, says Carter. The place is spotless. No one's been here for a while. You say, guess the cleaning lady only comes once a week. Or something. It smells like pine air, and it's fresh, says Carter. Where do you think she might be? I have no idea, you say. Maybe she was here and got sick of the smell. It does get pretty bad down here. Did you check out the patio? Asks Carter. It's locked up, you say. I doubt anyone would go out there during the day. What about the sliding door in the bedroom? Asks Carter. Maybe she went out there. It's also locked, you say. I doubt she'd go out there at night. What about the attic? Suggests Carter. Maybe she's up there. You look at Carter in surprise. Why would she be up there? You ask. It's hot down here. But up there it's not hot.